Precious people and wonderful people of the nations of Africa, I greet you all wherever you're watching from, and I say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Pastor Ocean Amandisha for those who are following me for the first time, and I'm here to give you a prophetic message concerning Africa. This is a follow-up message after I gave one of the messages. And here is the message that I want to share with you. And those who are in power, those who are leaders and in authority to understand, and all the people of Africa to understand something that is in the mind of God. There's a word that was coming to say the leaders of Africa, some in court, they've let their people down. This is not to say there was no significant change when they came to power. But as I was praying, because I'm one of those who are desiring to see a great move of God in nations of Africa, not only spiritual but also economical revival, as much as we are praying for the revival across Africa, spiritual. So this message came to say, some of the leaders, they have let their people down, as much as they are standing in defense of the resources of Africa. They are not doing justice, and this is the mind of God that I'm going to speak here. As you can see that most of the things that the nations of Africa are enjoying, the infrastructure, the roads and certain things, were built with those colonizers of the past. And when these leaders came into power, they did not do much to improve their nations, but they only talk about defense of their nations. To some, it's not necessarily defense, but they have just jumped a certain wire. They have just jumped a certain game to another game. If Africa has to have that impact and to be a great nation, they must realize that it's not a matter of hating the left and also go to the right. What I'm saying is that we understand that most of the African nations were colonized by the West, and also they were colonized by those who are supposedly to be the West in the European nations, and some from the Americans. But however, most of the Africans who are advocating that we need to stand with our own resources gave much, or they've even took more of the resources out of Africa, more than those who were said they have colonized Africa. They are making deals with new players. For example, I once sent a message to our nation to say, you may run away from a lion, but you'll be going to a leopard. And I want you to understand when I use these examples. A lion and a leopard, these are animals that feeds from meat. So if someone says, I hate a lion, he cannot just give his meat to a leopard and say, because I hate a lion, deprive his children of the food that they must get by giving it to his friend and say, I will not give my enemy. Because if you deprive your own children, even if you give your friend and your children are suffering, you are as good as giving your enemy the food, because the same thing that you are running away from, the same thing that you are trying to protect, is the same things that are being taken by your friend. So the nations of Africa and the leaders of Africa, this is where God was saying they have let their nations down, in the sense that when they build alliance with other nations, especially those in East, they are doing much more in plundering the resources of Africa that are going out instead of building the nations of Africa. So what is the message here? The message is coming to say Africa needs to look itself and build something that can protect its own resources, more than taking the resources and give them to what they call their friend. Yet they were crying years back that they were under colonization, and these people, they are pointing that they have taken their resources. They managed to do certain things in their nations, and when they defeated them, they have invited some other people not to protect resources, but to take the same resources out of Africa. So this is the message that I'm coming to speak to the leaders of Africa, that if they want to see the Africans, if they want to see their nation going forward, they must make sure that they are protecting the resources to remain in Africa, not to go out of Africa. Because if they go out of Africa, this is as good as giving the same things they are running away from to the friends who are now doing the same thing tapping from the resources of Africa, where Africa will end up with nothing. So this is the message, that if they want to protect their resources, they must make deals which are in protection. They must make deals that have protection of the interests of Africa. The deals that will make sure that the resources, they remain in Africa. The deals that will make sure that they employ people from Africa. The deals that will make sure they will hire the people from Africa more than the people who are outside. I'm not a politician, but that if Africa is to be great, they must understand that they cannot run away from a lion and go to the leopard and they say, we are doing justice to the African. If they want to make friends with a lion and a leopard, they must say, a lion, you must not take the whole share. A leopard, you must not take the whole share. As we can see, the leopard from the east is taking most of the shares of Africa. And eventually, Africa will be like yesterday. And people will wonder, where did we go wrong? As we see the same thing and the history repeating itself. This is the word of the Lord, that the people of Africa need to understand. And those who are going to be raised as leaders, they must understand this, that Africa can only rise when people understand that the resources of Africa belongs to Africa. And if they want to make friends and put boundaries to protect their interest, more than hating another, but doing the same thing, inviting a friend who will be do much more damage than the one that they call witch to their nation, or to their Africa, or to their continent. This is the message of the Lord, that Africa need to stand up, need to understand that God can do things when people understand the value of the things that God has given them. This is the message that I want to share with you. May God bless Africa as we continue to pray for our nations, and we continue to pray for Africa to rise up. In Jesus' name.